Hey, hey.
What's up, man? Darrell, right?
Yeah, that's me.
How's it going?
Good. How are you, Sean?
Good, good.
Hey, this is great, man. I'm glad you can join me, man. We can have this conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great to be here.
Yeah, that's good. I appreciate you, man. So I'm already recording. We can go ahead and pop this baby and get on started.
Okay.
All right. I understand that you was in the military.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So talk to me about that. Talk to me about your journey from the military to music.
Okay. So I joined in the Army in the Airborne Infantry. And well, I served in the Airborne Infantry. What I originally joined into the contract was the fast track to Special Forces.
Hmm.
So the idea was you go in having already done a whole bunch of work,
Yeah.
namely like having, knowing the DNC, knowing um, basic unit tactics, basically everything that happens in the first 4 weeks of basic training, you've already been certified in. And
Right.
you've already done a PT test. And so they bump up your rank to E3. And I thought that was really super high speed. And then when I get to my basic training, I realize I'm in a platoon full of people who are all doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Of course, why else would it be any different, right? So,
Right.
so from there, I went to airborne school, and they gave us a choice. They said you can either go right into special forces training, or you can go to a unit and deploy to Iraq, and then after that deployment, you can go to the special forces training. And I optioned to go to the unit, and that unit was the third of the 509th out of Fort Richardson, Alaska. And so
Oh,
we were training and doing training all for Iraq up in Alaska.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So your music, how did that turn out to be? How did you get into that?
So well the military story from there, I go and deploy to Iraq, and through a whole bunch of different combat experiences,
Hmm.
very different combat experiences, I eventually um, get I go on leave, and I decide to well, they tell me that I have to talk to this army psychologist, and
Oh,
the psychologist says you definitely have PTSD from all of the things that have already happened just halfway through the deployment. You definitely have that. So we're gonna send this recommendation back to your unit, and don't worry, it's not gonna affect your life at all. And so before I even get there, they're already like, Martin went AWOL. Like, he's gone. And I'm like, man, I'm right here in fucking Liberty. What are you guys
you
talking
know what I'm
about?
saying?
Yeah. So I get back the of course, all of the information had gotten leaked to the unit and had gotten added to what I call the JNN, which is the Joe News Network. That's the fucking
Oh,
rumor mill in the military. So,
really?
oh yeah, anytime you're deployed, there's just as much of a rumor mill, gossip column, just in regular society as there is in the military. Everybody wants to yak about something because they don't have fucking else, anything else to fucking yak about.
Wow.
So, like, trust me, that those cultures and that aspects of society, those aspects of society definitely are replicated in military culture for sure. So I eventually, through different fights with different people in my unit and different like shit started to get really, really serious as well. Like even more heavy duty combat experiences with, you know, seeing lots of horrible, horrible shit. We can
Yeah,
get to the details of all that, but we'll just skip over for now.
sure.
Uh, and I eventually get put into the TOC, the Tactical Operations Center, and from
Hmm.
there, I had a previous. Um, I knew the sergeant major, and he knew me, and so he was like, "What are you doing in the company TOC? You come work for me." So I went to go work for him. I had to up my security clearance. So then I stopped being around in my company at all and was doing these different missions around the fob of that were part of investigations, but I didn't know the other parts of the investigations.
Right.
So I was brought into this other world besides going outside the wire and doing the regular infantry missions. But now I'm given this subterfuge aspect of military, missions that I had never really known about that was
Right.
much closer to, what special forces work would do if you were a specific subset of military intelligence. So but it was at the same time, not everybody knew what was going on. And at the
Hmm.
same time, there eventually came a mission to where the sergeant major sent me specifically to and I found out he was expecting that I would die because there was a VBID that he was expecting a triple agent to call in on his position, and he was going to have me there for it. So
Hmm.
it was quite a mind blowing experience in realizing that not everybody has your best interests at heart, even
You got that right.
wearing a uniform,
Yes.
and that the people above you, in this case, um, don't care whether you'll ever die, and maybe even they're planning for it. And so then I had to. So then I was after I gathered all the human intelligence, I gathered all the information that I could from this triple agent. He didn't survive the incident. I did, and
Oh,
I walked. I was the explosion blew me forward about 5 feet. Like I was walking and it blew me into a solid run. I felt it.
holy
A
shit.
massive explosion at the north gate of our fob. There was a little what we called a Haji Mart right next to, which
Yeah.
local nationals that come by and sell us all different kinds of stuff, from rugs to chairs to CDs. Especially the CD. Like they had an amazing bootleg CD selection that was off the hook. But all of that got blown away, and there's at least 10 to 15, maybe even 20 to 30 casualties just in that local national mart that was there. Um, Not to mention the all the rest of the service members that were there around in the building that I was in, which is a very small building, but it was still blown apart. The whole north gate was just blown wide open. And it was a very traumatic event, but I had a different perspective on it because there was a side I knew where it came from, and I knew how it got there, and we were part of it. We didn't order it, but we were part of the intelligence of what the guy was using against us, and he was using it against everyone else. He was playing the local national groups, he was playing the terrorist groups, and he was playing us. And he wanted all of us to kill each other because all of his family had gotten killed at some point or another in the last 4 or 5 years that the war had been going on, because we were there. This
Hmm.
2007, but the war had been going on since 2003, 2001.
Right.
So he had lost all of his family. And he had told me a lot of his story because he was telling me why he was doing this. Because on this, he had multiple different phones, having multiple different conversations, some in English, some in Arabic, some in different dialects of Arabic. The dude was unbelievable. Like,
Yeah.
so after that experience, and I took all of that back to the sergeant major, and I kind of threw it in his face, and I'm like, "Look, you can't do this. What the how am I supposed to operate as a regular military operation if I'm thinking and knowing that the superiors are purposefully sending me to my death?" And they were like, nah, and tried to avoid answering as many different ways as they could. But essentially, what it ended up being was that they gave me two options. We'll give you the recommendations to go into special forces training. As soon as you get done with the deployment, you'll go to the special forces training, and third and 509th will be away. We'll give you recommendations, and you'll be on your own, and with the best foot moving forward you can in special
Mm.
forces. Or
Right.
they give you the golden parachute, the ticket out. You give you 50% disability, that what your what your army psychologist suggested earlier before,
Right.
and you can just get out right now because you've already done a lot, and it's up to you whether you want to continue. And I said, yeah, no, I don't trust you guys. Let me out.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Basically, that was just like betrayal right in your face.
That's what it felt like. Yeah, that's what it felt like. And honestly, I was prepared for it because I had felt it in different elements along the way and falling
Yeah.
down this funnel, whatever it is. Members of
Uh,
my own platoon would come up and want to fight me because they thought of different things, and then I had to kick some of them off Humvees and almost stab some of them. People had to stop me. It was like multiple fights to the death kind of things where maybe it wasn't for them, but it sure as fuck was for me, and it always ended with them, you know, at the end of my knife. So there's or at the end of my boot. So one, one
right.
guy in particular, I kicked off a 15-foot berm because he said, he as one of my best friends, Jeff Bisson had died, and I was up on just re I was relieving the guard that was there, and he was
Mhm.
on guard. And as he was walking back, he said, "Oh, sorry about your friend Bisson." And I was like, "Whoa, fuck you."
You hear me?
And so I went over and I Sparta kicked him right off of a 15-foot berm. And when my buddy Burgos, who was my had been my battle through like the entire fucking thing from the very beginning of the deployment, when he hit the ground, he was wearing an IBA and that back plate broke and you could hear it crack. And he
Oh.
got over and he hit him. He went right over his face. And, you just got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
And it was like the most perfect moment in fucking ever. And I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. I love this guy for fucking ever.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
but that's so I'd already experienced that kind of like just people who you expect. He was just another, he was in Force Squad. He was just another dude that I had gone to basic training with. But at some
Mhm.
point, they decide, hey, fuck that guy. And it's up to you whether you're not gonna do something about it. And in that way, people who have been in prison and people in the military are really, mentally speaking, are closer than we would like to believe. And
Yes.
that should tell us everything. And that
Mhm.
right there truly informs the music because the title of it is The Quarantined. And that's really like I've lived that mentality, that experience of feeling like everything that you do is just spinning wheels in a cage, and somehow
Yeah.
you have to figure out a way to either build, dig, or explode yourself out of it. And that's kind of the reality that I think a lot of us share. And so that's what I wanted to bring forth with the music.
Absolutely. Because it's like when you said that, it's like in reality, you're actually looking at this big black hole. You're depressed, you have anxiety, and the more you put yourself into that black hole, you can't even get yourself back up. So
Right.
it's like you really have to dig and claw and try to survive. And that's the hardest thing to do. And
Yeah.
that's and it's amazing that you're even here, you
Yeah.
know, talking, sharing. And it's like you went through hell and back, man. You went through hell and back.
Yeah, it was
That's
really, really,
nuts.
yeah, it was really, really unusual. And I know that it's unusual. I know that it's not like that's everybody's story. No, it's not. It's really not. Yeah,
Man.
but it's part and parcel to a lot of different other people's experiences. It's always hard
Hmm.
for me to talk to, especially like arty guys, like artillery guys. We call
Yeah.
them arty guys. Um, they're like having fucking barbecues and cookouts and shit while they're firing off, 155 rounds, and because it's all there's a time to party and there's a time to work, and those two times are deliberately set aside. And it's not like people are drinking while they're shooting off artillery, but they're able to still have a semblance of family. Like everything that they do together, you know um
Yeah.
and that's really not a similar experience. That there's different levels of camaraderie based on what your MOS is.
Right.
It's not universal. We would like to think that it's universal, but it's really not. There's many different levels, and it's also depends on a lot on the culture. Our unit, because I feel like I could see and understand, at least the people who were closest to me. I could see that there were some people who really got the idea of working together as a team and nobody is really above the other. We're all making it even beyond rank. Like we use rank to to generate and put forward respect so that orders are accomplished and goals are made.
Right.
But there is an underlying level to where it's not just one way. The NCOs have to respect the lower enlisted at least a little bit. You can't go fucking abusing them. You can't go acting
Man,
like you're
yeah.
always superior to everybody because at some point, if you get bumped down in rank, what happens when you're now equal with all of them? Then the dynamics truly change. And guess what? Everyone's going to want to stick it fucking to you. Everybody
Right.
will.
Right.
So I've experienced those kind of things as well, and many different dynamics of power and authority that I hope that I can really fully explain and express. In I'm looking at doing a book. I'm looking at doing a TV series. I'm looking at trying to get the full breadth of the experience out to people because there is a real cultural and social element that affected the entire story, not just my decisions, but how the
Right.
culture was also affected it as well.
Hmm.
But but also in dealing with that, once I had PTSD, what the biggest deal was is that my nervous system is now unreliable
Oh
because the
yeah.
nervous system itself is going off not based off of any kind of cue or stimulus, but simply just you're now in trouble. Oh, everything's fine when you are in trouble. So like that's when things start getting flipped out of way and like you're in complete danger and you really don't give a fuck. Like
Right.
there's a that was useful, but it's also a little bit psychotic in other circumstances. Like it, there, I'll be in, especially this happened. I was driving in Colorado. An accident happened right in front of me, and there was a fatality. They had to make sure that people stayed away from the fatality so they didn't see it and would drive around it because everyone's gonna fucking rubberneck about it. So I didn't have
Ooh.
a problem getting in front of it and directing traffic around it and making sure that I got in the way of people's visuals so that they kept driving and moving around it. Like and the dude came up to me and was like, how are you not turning around and looking at this all the time? I'm like, it's not the first time I've seen dead body.
See,
You know,
military.
yeah, those little things, are can look like superpowers or how the
Hmm.
hell is this guy doing this? But it's really just focus. It's having tapped into that seventh gear.
Right.
It's a lot of times I've talked with veterans. We talk about tapping into a seventh gear, another level beyond just being in the zone, but being completely accurate. You know, and
Absolutely.
it's those so those a lot of those kinds of mentalities and everything I brought into music school, and I brought them into the music industry as
Yep.
well, trying
Mhm.
to because there's a one of the hardest parts about the music industry is trying to see through people to see who's going to screw you over
Oh yeah.
because there's
Yep.
just too many people who are trying to get away with shit, especially nowadays. Uh,
Yep.
I've
I
found
agree.
the last 10 years or so have been like the era of the con, and I definitely blame Trump for it. Um,
Yep.
and but it has permeated the music industry to where now nothing seems fucking real, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Since you mentioned that, and you talked about your time in the military, I'm gonna go off a little bit here, and I'm just gonna ask you this, and like I said, it really don't have anything to do with this. It connects, but it don't.
Mhm.
What What do you make of the the wars in Iran? What do you
Oh,
make of that?
they are absolutely fucking atrocious.
Yeah,
They are fucking war crimes. There have been war crimes committed left and right. It,
absolutely.
it is absolutely a disgrace to the American military.
Hmm.
Is a disgrace to every I like to quote Eisenhower at the time and say every bomb dropped, Every bullet fired, every tank rolling over any amount of ground is another dollar stolen from the American people and those
Yes.
who truly need it.
Yes.
Maybe paraphrase, but that's exactly what the fuck he meant. And that is exactly going on right now. And I wish for the ICC to step in right fucking now. We are beyond the fact that we have confirmed now that to have killed some 160, 200 or so schoolgirls because
Yeah.
intelligence was bad and they didn't update it because Hegseth fired the people who would have updated it is a fucking war crime with every single bit of evidence to prove it. Like, god damn, like this never, there is never a level to which this would have flown in any way in Iraq. Like, I thought Iraq was bad. I witnessed war crimes. I saw people do horrible shit. I saw the result of other people doing horrible shit. I've
Yes.
seen the results of the Republican Guard and what Saddam's, you know, regime did to his people. I've fucking seen it.
Hmm.
And the truth of the matter is that we are perpetuating now
Yeah.
the what would have been back then the most perfect propaganda campaign to convince everyone that America is truly evil. And is that is George Bush's nightmare. That is Dick Cheney's absolute complete destruction and chaos. And the fact that Donald Trump is even still in office, that Hegseth is still in office, and someone is actually referring to him as that a fucking Department of War should be not only slapped in the face, but slapped with cuffs, taken to the Hague, and locked the fuck away. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I'm trying to figure out why this man is still in the office. I'm still trying to figure out why they ain't plead the was it uh the 25th, I think it is.
Yeah, well, uh that's for the president is incompetent, and so the vice.
Right. Yeah.
But what we
That's why I'm
actually need,
surprised.
what we actually need is, I believe it's there's an article in the Constitution, but at
Mhm.
Section 2, where I just posted on my Facebook, where the office of the president, vice president, and all cabinet members shall be removed from office when they have proven to for treason, bribery, or high crimes and misdemeanors. Right now, we got them on fucking bribery. They
Yeah.
could be accepted a $400 million plan. That's fucking bribery right there. I don't give a shit what they say about it. That's exactly what the fuck that is. And we need to stop acting like it's fucking not. And then third, high crimes and misdemeanors. Well, I believe, and I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but I'm one of those
Mhm.
dudes who's on the trying to look at Facebook to see what all the people are saying, right? And I saw that there was a list of the things that are real impeachable offenses, direct like one line impeachable offenses. This is what they
Mhm.
did, and this is the law that it's impeachable for. Uh,
Mhm.
and there was about 18 of them, and I believe it was being submitted to Congress. But because it is in the stalemate that it is, it may or may not get brought up. But it's there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Supposedly.
It's too much going on
Yeah,
in
no,
that. It's too much.
right, right. I mean, look, 15 years ago,
Mhm.
I remember where the general argument, what for raising the debt ceiling. Do you remember that talks about raising the debt ceiling? Nobody should remember the talks about raising the debt ceiling because it's fucking
Man.
boring as shit. But that
Mhm.
was the biggest fucking issue. Not whether or not the American economy is fucking solvent because we've added ridiculous amount of inflationary spending and
Mhm.
inflationary cost to the government by all of the tariffs.
Mhm.
Like now we don't have an actual real economy anymore. Like that's the political issue,
Yeah.
underlying implied situation, not, oh, this policy would be better than this other policy. Like, like that,
Mhm.
I hope that we can get that policy, for veterans healthcare or for homeless people or for, that we should fund the protection of our lakes and rivers from corporate dumping of chemical waste into the waterways. That's
Right.
not even on the fucking docket anymore, and
It ain't.
it's all been gutted. It's an unreal time in politics. Unfucking real.
Yeah. This is like a nightmare you really can't wake up from and just be like, oh man, that was just a dream. Whoo! Yeah, it ain't none of that. We're just sitting here like sitting ducks and all of this shit is happening and we're looking around like who's gonna do something? Well,
Yeah.
y'all know what's going on. Y'all know exactly what's going on. And y'all sitting here like sitting ducks. Y'all firstly, they scared of him. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And we got to get out of that
Yeah.
because he's just human, just like me and you and everybody else.
Yeah.
Like it, like these threats and everything else that's been displayed has just been total disrespect, man. I'm beyond over this. I'm
Right.
over it, man. it's,
Yeah. No, me
it's
too.
crazy.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I have to have a distance from it
Yes.
because truly, like the answer for me is a kinetic one.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what that means, you know what it means.
Right.
But truly, that's an unacceptable choice.
Yeah.
Like we can't just decide to do that. However, Thomas Paine, on the other
Man.
hand, would say,
Yeah.
think twice about that. So, like, we have an American value that is, yo, fuck kings, fuck the people who think they're our overlords. So, fuck the people
Mm-hmm.
who think that they own us. No,
Mm-hmm.
and that took a long time for that mentality to travel down throughout all of American culture because we kept it from black people and from Native Americans for way fucking too long.
Yep.
And now we have to have as a society that has been the whole of us has been economically and intellectually beaten down to a point to where we don't have a lot of other choices but to just keep doing the same relatively relative life that we've had
Right.
and expect that it's going to be the same way tomorrow. And that's a weird, I don't know of another time. And I've talked to a lot of different people from a lot of different generations. And even the people who lived through, the Cold War time when it was like, oh, they might nuke us. This is not the same, you know? Like the feeling of hiding under the desk when they were kids is relatively the same, but not the
Mhm.
fucking reality. Not the
Right.
reality. Like it's so yeah, I mean we as a society have to start building I think have to
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
building our own connections. We have to stop relying on the things that we think how it should be.
Yeah.
you
I
know
agree. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's so many times when people would get confused about bills in passing in Congress because they're like, "Oh, well, isn't there some organization or isn't the cops looking after whether or not consumers are getting ripped off?" No, there was a government agency called the CFPB that would
Mhm.
protect people. It was started by Elizabeth Warren that is now gone for no good fucking reason. And its only purpose was to protect consumers. So
Yeah.
we have to assume any good thing is actually happening and start creating it, and eventually those those smaller seeds will grow and grow fast when it actually provides some kind of service to the need that is there. So if we look at it from with an empathetic perspective, but also using a corporate structure of going after a problem and solving it, but joining that kind of empathy with that efficiency, man, then we're actually going to fucking have something as a society.
Yep. Yep. And the main thing that really gets me is how healthcare, is literally like,
Yes.
cut off. That kills me the most because Americans really relied on that. Americans needed that. Everybody needed it. And that was the best thing that ever happened. And for it to just be, gone or decided by the states is the most disappointing, it's the most disappointing thing to look at. I hate it to the core,
Yeah, me
really
too.
to the core. I've never seen anything like it, dude. This
Yeah,
is amazing though, how so many things are getting cut. So many things are just not intact anymore. Bills that are gone, jealousy, hate. It's just, it's there now. And it's like, when are we all going to come together again?
yeah.
And this is not the case at all. Like, we're far from it right now. And we look like we're never going to get to that point unless, Trump leaves office. And my mindset right now is like, we're in trouble, in
Yeah,
sincere trouble. Like,
yeah,
it's like a ticking time bomb in trouble. You
yeah,
know what I mean? We're just doomed. We're
yeah.
doomed right now. But I will ask you this. So, based off of, the military and Iran and all of that, this experience that you experienced in the military, what did that do to you mentally?
It you know, it definitely activated, like you mentioned, it definitely activated the betrayal
Yeah.
aspect of aspects that you would fear.
Yeah.
Abandonment, right? I didn't
Hmm.
quite realize at the time just how deep some of those pools really would go. Um, and it wasn't until I started to face them and face the reasons why I felt that way was I able to start overcoming them. And, I will say that a part about my music is while while I definitely understand and agree with the sentiment that we are doomed,
Yeah.
I do know that the way to overcome a seemingly impossible obstacle is with perspective and gratitude
Yeah.
and a knowledgeable process to move forward, an orientation, if you will, even
Hmm.
to learn what you don't know and to discover where you've never been requires at least an orientation. So it's these little things that I like to remember from my journey
Hmm.
overcoming the different obstacles, like, especially in coming back from the military to the civilian world and having to understand what's going on with PTSD and also using
Yeah.
cognitive behavioral therapy to to undo the things that I tell myself that aren't true.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
there's a how do we undo some of the programming that we feel is coming at us? Well, how we undo that is through cognitive behavioral therapy. We
Yes.
identify the hot thoughts and then we're able to define the evidence that supports them, and then it becomes very, very obvious what is true and what is not.
Absolutely.
And there are other ways that we can use to determine what information is being thrown at us and what is true, and that is and is something that they teach to Scandinavian and Norwegian uh, schools, in
Hmm.
high schools and stuff now. It's these are the kinds of things that we need to start having advocations for to
Right.
exist in our education if it still fucking exists.
Exactly. If it fucking exists.
And yeah, and this is why it's so catastrophic. If people don't understand how catastrophic the situation that we're really talking about here, they should that should illuminate them.
Yes. Yes, dude. Yes. Yes. Like, a lot of people don't even understand that right now. We're just sitting here right now and everybody's kind of thinking about other things and not even the important shit is getting out there anymore. We're
Right.
just, it's taking a back seat to everything else. So that's why this conversation is always important because it needs to be in the highlights. It needs to be in front of people's faces because
Right.
this is getting crazy because it's like you getting out of the military. Like that's where, you know, people like you that went to the military and all that, that's where y'all need the help most. All right. And the government can sit there and look at y'all. Oh, I support all the troops, or I support all the people, the military, the Marines, the Navy. They spill all this shit out, and then y'all get, y'all either get deployed or y'all, decide y'all want to move on from the military, and it's like, oh, y'all supported us. Now I need some fucking help. We need to transition here. And they looking at y'all like, y'all motherfuckers are on your own. That's some bullshit. I'm like, how the fuck do y'all think that this shit is okay? How do y'all think we could just sit here and just be like, damn, I just served the motherfucking country. I just served for our country. And y'all sitting up here talking about, oh, we're on our own. No type of help, no nothing. Like, y'all deserve this transition. And that's what bothers me the most too. It's like how y'all can just transition out and y'all can't get, some people can. I'm not going to knock that. Some people can get the help. They do get the help and all of that. But some of them are just like, yeah, especially depending on what state you're living in, is like, yeah, you're on your own, man. And it's like, bro, really? Hi, need help here. I just served the country. So, like, I'm not answering this as a stupid question, but I just have to ask it anyway
Mhm.
because it's just in me. Like, did you get the necessary help that you needed, like when you got out?
I yes and no.
Okay.
More leaning to no.
Okay.
Because the scarcity of it drove me eventually into the things that I could rely on.
Right.
So, like, okay, let me. There was in 2012, people did
Mhm.
not in the VA did not understand what PTSD was.
True.
They understood what the symptoms were because they understood that people coming in would say, "I've got a real quick temper. I've got no sleep. I can't eat. I have I lose, consciousness sometimes in like black out and not remember where I was or what I was doing. And I'm 25 years old, mind you. Like so I shouldn't be fucking acting like an Alzheimer's patient. What the hell is going on with me?
Right.
The VA would hear that and say at in 2010 and 2012 and say, okay, well, here's some opioids. That's just to stabilize you. Next, we're going to give you some Xanax so we can, stabilize your mentality. And then we'll come back in a couple of weeks and talk to you once those pills have kicked in. And if you know what that is, you know that that's just doping them up to shut
Yes.
them up so that
Mhm.
they don't, it's not even addressing what, because what the real diagnosis is, that person has PTSD with a traumatic brain injury.
Yes.
That's what the actual fucking diagnosis is. So
Yeah.
I didn't start really seeing that happen around in my area in Los Angeles County until like 2016, 2017. And I was going and asking them for help all the way starting back in 2008 when after I got out of the military. So there was a good long time. Now I will say the number one resource for veterans who are looking for counseling and therapy is the vet center. It's not the VA. It's the vet center. You need to go to the vet center if you're a combat veteran and you're looking for free counseling because it's provided and offered for you. It is separate from the VA. So they don't share everything that you say with to them with the VA. There's a level of buffer and to have a clear conversation of client therapist client privilege, if you will. So there's that's a really, really important thing. And that's what I relied on. I relied on the
Sure.
East Los Angeles Vet Center. And that entire operation organization, especially my therapist manual, was
Hmm.
fucking amazing. He was a Jungian psychologist and
Hmm.
really studied Joseph Campbell. So he was really able to explain and express to me and put into a context a story, my story that I didn't think had any sort of comparison to anything else in the world. I didn't know if anybody else had experienced the same kind of thing that I did. And he was able to show me that the world has experienced the exact same thing that you have, just they haven't experienced your details. But the ideas and the concepts, everybody's felt that. And that's what really blew my mind and started to make me go, oh, I don't have to hold this back anymore. I can create a way to express this and other people will understand. And
No
then
doubt.
and that's really helped what propel me to refine the quarantine and combine it with the messaging of, of overcoming these obstacles and giving people, at least a feeling of being able to overcome the seemingly impossible obstacle. Because there, I mean, everything was stacked against me to basically become the next shooter. I had at that point I had a really bad relationship with my parents. I didn't really have a lot of friends. The people who I did, didn't feel like they understood me. I was living in an area in which nobody really gave a shit about. It was a really horrible area of Los Angeles. There,
Mhm.
like I had every single reason to just fall into a pit of anger and hostility and never work on anything. It was so easy. It was right in front of me, all around me. And I knew that the better choice was to continue to go to therapy and learn how to overcome myself so that I can face the obstacles that are in front of me. Because if I can't master myself, I can't master anything else.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
It is. That's amazing. Like the the whole gist of the VA, I didn't even know that was a thing. So
Yeah.
what else do they offer?
They offer psychology,
Uh-huh.
psychiatry,
Uh-huh.
and pharmacology.
And who?
Pharmacology. So they'll offer you the pharmacy.
Oh, oh, ooh.
Essentially, they'll have someone to consult with about what pills you should take, and then a
Uh,
psychologist that you can see who will talk to you about how you're feeling about the pills that you're taking. They're not actually going after the real therapy. They weren't doing that for a good long time. They may do that now. I don't know. I haven't honestly asked because the last therapist that I saw at the VA, oh man, I tore them a fucking new one because I thought they were just stupid and incompetent and like, what the fuck are you even doing here? You're talking to a combat veteran and you don't even know anything about combat at all. And when I tell you, one experience, you go, I need a minute. Like, I need a therapist who can actually handle what I'm actually going to say. And I didn't see that until I got to the vet center, and Manuel was a combat veteran of Vietnam. He was one of the guys who would get off the helicopters in hot zones in the infantry and just open and spray and pray. And that was his fucking job. Like he'd seen some shit, some real shit that my generation could never fucking understand. And it wasn't until I could talk to that guy that I could understand, man, how to relate to people and not like, be condescending or not be, but try to offer something and invite people in instead of pushing them away. Because that's the constant thing that us veterans always try to do is like, you wouldn't understand, man. You weren't there. You gotta wait until you see, see the shit until you really no, man. Everybody can understand this stuff. We got to open up about it. And when we do that, the world comes in and then we all come together about it instead of feeling so
bingo.
isolated.
Yes. What's his name again?
Manual.
Shout out to fucking Manuel, man. That's some real
Yeah.
shit, man. That's some real shit, man.
Fuck
It
yeah.
really is. That's some real shit, man. So we talk about uh suppression and expression. So you're more now expressing, you're really, sharing, you're really telling and exposing and also learning at the same time. So us for men, we suppress a lot of, the things that we go through. So what made you express, everything that you went through?
Oh, I still have yet to really do that. I feel have yet to fully express everything. Like to,
Really?
yeah, to really lay it. This is only just the beginning, my man. Like
Oh shit.
yeah, aversion to normalcy is just the beginning.
Oh
So
my goodness.
I still have, there's a record that I made before that's called Antiquate Hate. That was five other songs that, it through a really stupid and long process got stolen by a management at distribution. So I had to kill it on regular distribution, and it's been that way for a good long time, but I've always had it on
Yeah.
Bandcamp. But
Yeah.
Bandcamp is not, I never really knew how to promote Bandcamp, so it basically never went anywhere. But
Right.
now I know the processes to build audiences, so now I've got a whole other record that I've got to re-release. And that's, then on top of that, I've got, like I was saying before, I've got an entire story, an entire script for a TV series about the
Yeah.
experiences that I have going on to truly express all of this stuff. I feel I have yet to do it. I'm just beginning.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I thought you like coming on here to talk to me, man. I thought you were really like, okay, you actually coming out here to express.
Well,
Wow,
yeah, I
this is
am.
just the beginning.
Yeah, I am. Oh, I'm definitely out here to express. But I mean,
Sure.
that's what aversion to normalcy is really about. But I'm saying the
Yeah.
scope of it, like
Mhm.
there's still a hell of a lot more to go. And I know,
Sure. Yeah.
it's not even really left to create. It's stuff that's already been backlogged, that's been held up because business fucks
Mhm.
up.
Sure do.
The creative process is entirely separate from the business process. So, but in the expression, like, yeah, man, it's time to get out into society and start to rally. And it's time to get out there and let people know that the values of a good man
Yeah.
are worth uh, living more
Hmm.
so than this stupid superficial bullshit. And it's really
I
time
agree.
that people start realizing that the superficiality is exactly what leads you to believe absurdities.
Hmm.
And when you get to believe absurdities, you will be enabled to commit atrocities. And the reason why intelligence tells us that is because that's what fucking Voltaire said about the French Revolution.
Hmm.
And it's the exact same situation that we're looking at, a
Yeah.
ridiculous sized uh, billionaire class, super wealthy class, controls and owns everything. And the rest of us are just sitting around wondering what the hell are we supposed to burn to get our basic necessities. The wisdom and
Yeah.
knowledge from the past is what will help us to create a new and better future because right now we have to break cycles.
Yes. Yes. That's absolutely right.
Yeah,
Yeah. We need to break at this point millions of them because nobody seems to understand it. Like you
right.
said, nobody understands it, and we're just sitting here twiddling our fucking thumbs and just like, okay, there's nothing to see here. There's nothing going on, and no, we got to speak on this shit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is crazy. Music. It seems like music has been your healer, so to speak. So, how did music become your outlet?
Well, music was always kind of there for me. I was singing since age 4,
Oh,
and I picked up guitar when I was 12. So music has been something that I've got into the multiple different avenues of expression for it. Like when I was 7, I went and did an opera, and I learned how to
mm,
sing like an operatic singer at 7 years old. And then at 12, I picked up the guitar and was learning Black Sabbath and to sing like Ozzy Osbourne, and it came really natural to me. And I'm like, why is that? Oh, it's because I learned how to do opera before, so I could really open up to do the Ozzy stuff, And so I started to
yeah.
realize that the crossover of all of these different genres was irrelevant to the techniques. The techniques are where the real information about how to do something,
Hmm.
that's really where it's at. So that's what I focused on. And so when I focused on all the different techniques, the expression of it would start to come through improvisation practice. You
Hmm.
give yourself the space to fail over and over and over again until you kick yourself in the ass enough to do it right because you're
Yeah.
practicing the techniques. You're practicing the techniques, you're practicing the techniques, and then you give yourself the ability to have that playing field.
Yeah.
And truly, that's the process for the entire creative process is the have a spot to think, have a spot to practice, have a spot to try it and lay it all out, and then go and
Hmm.
repeat the process until you come up with something that you can put on recall all the time, and it's fucking amazing.
Wow. Wow. And so when we talk about how, music has been like your healer, like how has like because I'm not a musician and I may be a creative person, like I'll make videos or something like that, but I can't sing for shit. So that is one thing. So it's like that is, yeah, I tried, I tried to get on the guitar, actually a bass guitar.
Yeah.
That was shot to hell, so that didn't work out very well. But at least I tried, so it was something an effort that didn't really go wasted, so to speak. I tried it.
Mhm.
I dabbled a little bit of piano, and I think that's about it. So it's like, how do you get your creative thoughts when it comes to actually making music and telling a story from there? How does that work on that behalf?
Oh, well, now I've got a process where just sort of step into that mindset.
Yeah.
You know, I, you know, I turn off. This is fun for me. I may look like I'm difficult.
Yes.
It's fun for me to
Yes.
talk about this.
I can
So
tell. Yes,
yeah,
I can tell, man. I can tell.
so you turn off all of the other processes
Hmm.
that are going on in your mind and put all of your emotionality into the technique and the feeling as if you were going to tell that person that musical phrase and somehow they would understand how you felt, but you're just playing it to yourself. Like that's the best way that I can describe how you transfer emotion into your playing. And
Yeah.
that comes with practice. Like sometimes the phrase that you want to send that person is frank, 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 like you're
Yeah.
just hitting
Yeah.
the strings over and over again, and that's what you want to. That's okay.
Hmm.
Explore that. So the one thing that I would say is that every time somebody tells me that, oh, I tried to sing and try to do this and it didn't really work, I would say explore it more because I'm willing to bet you thought that if I sound bad, that means I can't do it. Wrong, wrong. Let me show you. I'll show you right now on so how I open up my voice, and it sounds horrible.
Wow.
That's how I open now. Doesn't my voice already sound a whole hell of a lot better? Sounds more clear and everything.
Yeah.
Ah! I can sing perfectly. That's how I open up my voice. Did that sound like I'm ready to sing? But I am hell of a lot more ready to sing right now than I was 4 seconds ago before I did that. So because I learned the techniques of how to push and open up my voice, and I've spent the time to make sure that it's always open, that when I do that one little bit, now I'm ready to go.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
This is like it's a workout.
It is. It
I
is.
believe that.
It's exactly the same as a process to work out. When you get ready to work out, you put on your gloves, you put on your shorts, but you're not ready to work out yet. You still have to stretch.
Just
And you got to make sure your knees are right. Maybe you got to apply some, cream to make sure your knees don't fucking, get a little bit stronger every time
yeah.
you do it. Maybe
Yeah.
some shit like that. Who
Yeah.
knows? Whatever it is, you've got a process
Right.
that you get yourself ready to go for. Singing is the exact same way. And for you, man, if you start
Hmm.
out in your lower voice and lower down like that, man, I know you got that good lower voice. So you can
Yeah.
That's Barry
Yeah.
White shit right there.
Yeah.
You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it's all in the fray, it's all in the circumstance and in the perspective.
Hmm.
If you were to create a little bit deeper guitar and sing those songs and that, yeah, that's the yeah, baby. You know, like that. If you
Yeah.
were to do that and set up those kind of man, that's where your voice would fit. Your voice is not going to fit in fucking White Snake. All right. So
Right.
stop thinking that
Right.
like once you put yourself in a musical context, man, everybody can make music. Everybody has a musical context. And that's the beautiful thing about music because it is the universal language, whether we believe we're connected to it or not.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. Because it's funny because I saw a clip on Instagram. Uh I think his name was uh what's the dude's name? I think it was Charlie Perth or Charlie Puth. I
Yeah,
forgot his.
Charlie Puth. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I saw him recreate Jimmy Fallon's voice just through I was blown away. I said, how the fuck did he do that? And Jimmy Fallon can't sing for shit. And he can't sing for shit. And he literally mastered all of that. I loved it. I said, man, I don't know how y'all can be that damn creative, but that's why I have to tip my hat because y'all can really put your foot down when it comes down to music, singing, all of that. I was amazed. That fucking blew me away. I've never seen nothing like. I had to rewatch that video at least 6 times. That was amazing. Just using his voice and made music, drums, his voice,
Yeah,
sweeten it up a little bit. Use the like damn near like a band, like a group. It was like, oh my goodness, man, he's good. He
yeah,
was good, man. I
yeah,
was amazed by that one.
yeah, yeah. And how
Dude,
all of that comes is from him doing that same process for each different instrument. So he
yeah,
practices what just a kick drum. Where is the noise where it sounds the best like a kick? So he would try
yes,
all of those different things and then find the one that's the best, the one that resonates the most with him, what he's heard, what's supposed to be, and then he matches what is already there so that
right.
everybody has a context for it. Now he
Mhm.
just matched what he's capable of doing with what's already there, and now the expression of it is off to the races. It's
No,
the process is simpler than you actually think it is. The result is what's amazing. The
yeah,
result is the result of the years and the years of practicing, but that process is the same.
I that makes sense. That really
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So, what does it take to build something on your own while dealing with internal struggles?
Oh, I mean, a lot of things.
Yeah.
The first one I would say is discipline. And
Mhm.
um, uh, it's something that I'm always not perfect on. It's
Right.
very important to realize that discipline is not something you win.
Right.
It's something that you have to strive towards every day.
Sure.
Um, you know, in kind of like in the same context as, you try to be a good man. You know generally what that means,
Hmm.
but you're striving towards it, realizing that perfection is not a realistic expectation.
Hmm.
But then you do have to have realistic expectations of
Hmm.
what your abilities are,
Hmm.
what your network can create, and what you can create with your paid network, the people that you employ, the people that you um, pay to pay attention to the aspects of your business. So it's important. I would say it's important to separate the creative process from the business process, but
Yeah.
you got to refine both. And
Yeah.
through that takes a sense of discipline and understanding, and also objectivity. You have to be. I talk with people a lot, and there's definitely a lot of people who try to um, conform the market to them,
Mhm. Oh yeah. Oh
and,
yeah.
but there is a value in that, but there is also a strength in taking what you are and forming it to fit into the market. And that's kind of more what I've done. I haven't compromised on the aspect and the angle of the promotion for my record. I
Right.
knew that I wanted to be about mental health. I wanted to talk about these things specifically because that's what I was writing about, right? So
Sure.
there is no saying like this record is the funnest. Like that's a dumbass promotion, right? Because it doesn't follow, you know.
Right.
Even though that's what the market wants to hear, they want to hear the next summer song, right? Well,
Right.
what happens if our summer is fucking really fucked up? Then what? That's where my music comes in, motherfuckers, right? So
Exactly.
now
That's
you're playing to the market, but you're keeping
mhm.
your principles and everything. You're finding the right space for your product, we'll say.
Right.
But it's if the product is entirely you, then you have to be objective about when you enter that product into the market, how you're talking about it, so that it keeps you sane and that it doesn't rely on you doing stupid shit to maintain it. Because we've already
Yeah.
seen how that falls out. It doesn't
Yeah.
fall out that fucking great.
Wow. And that's true too. I agree to that.
Yeah.
So does creating, does that ever bring you back into like your dark spaces?
Yeah, I mean, I have to tap into it. I mean,
Sure.
it's part of the performance. Like every time that I perform Nemesis Friend of Mine, I
Mhm.
have to tap into at least a little bit of that in order to get the vocal performance. Like that emotion is always there with me. I'm This is the thing about PTSD is that
Mhm.
it's always random and there's always something going on in the background. Like that's just how it operates.
Yeah.
And so you have to realize uh that your mind and your body and your ability are all separate things. And the most that you have interdependence and independence of, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah.
Versatility is really the key. The more that you know, the more that you can have on recall, the better off you're going to be. We can rely on AI for our information, but the techniques
Mhm.
and to create the abilities to create the results, that will
Mhm.
always be human.
Correct. I agree. I agree. What would you say to all the men that are basically suppressing everything? What would you say to them? You don't have to ask.
um, Live free. um, no, I mean, really, I would say, be free in your mind, man. Like that's the slogan for my band. There's a if it takes real courage
Absolutely.
to face up, and it takes real accountability
Mm.
to make it through this world.
Yes.
And you've got to be and I would say the best of us, the best men throughout history were the ones who held themselves to a higher standard,
Hmm.
but always remembered that the higher standard is not where they reside. The humility is what keeps them grounded
Absolutely.
while striving for that higher standard. So if you start from that value and that
Hmm.
principle,
Yep.
the more that you ask for help from experts, from qualified experts, then you will be able to start to uncover the reasons why you suppress the things that you are and what it is the things that you're suppressing.
Yes.
But once you can answer those questions honestly and truthfully with a qualified, it doesn't mean you have to go and confess to every single person or every single thing, everything that you think. No, you just need to find the space in which you can test the ideas that are going on in your head.
Hmm.
And that's the key of where you got to start.
Absolutely. Last question for you. How do you turn your pain into something that actually helps you instead of hurt you.
Oh yeah. And that was, I mean, that was the key fight
Yes.
for a real, real long time.
Yes.
I mean, I felt like the hate and the craziness is what drove me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for a while it was. It,
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
there is a certain freedom to feeling like you got battery acid in your veins and
Oh my goodness.
smoke through your lungs and you're
Yeah.
still just running and whatever the hell you want to do and the world is, you know, just prostrate before you and can run over it as much as you want to.
Mhm.
But that don't last. that's
Man.
that's not the
Yes.
forever.
Right.
Um, so from once I once I realized that sustainability was more important than self-destruction,
Yeah. That's
that's
true.
that's when I started to realize and I started to apply that. Thankfully, I was in an inpatient clinic to help me systematically apply that into my life.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not like I just did it and I thought it and it came about. No, there was constant fighting with myself and fighting with my therapist because I'm trying to argue for my perspective. It doesn't help to fucking argue with yourself.
Correct.
You
Yes.
know, like
Yes,
it's
brother.
that's an important thing to remember. It does not help to argue with yourself.
Yes.
It's very, very key for us men to understand how a good argument and evidence is made.
Hmm.
And so in that way, we can start to get a sense of stability. And with a good stable foundation,
Hmm.
then you're able to connect to the artistic and creative expression that music requires because it requires an authenticity.
Yeah.
It requires a true you showing up, feeling how you feel. Like you can play a version of the same song in 20 different ways depending on how you're feeling.
Hmm.
And if you truly know which one is the best one to perform at which particular room, then you're an expert performer. Otherwise, you're
Yeah.
just a performer,
Hmm.
you know? So
Yes.
those kinds of things were the mentalities that I put myself in to make sure that I had the sustainable future, not going after the superficial, not idolizing the superficial, but
Hmm.
idolizing the sustainable, real ways to know myself better
Hmm.
so that everything that I then put out becomes more and more authentic to myself.
Absolutely. Yep. I'm gonna say this real quick. Like, I do this podcast for a purpose, Like, I didn't know exactly, you know, how I was gonna do it and stuff like that. I've been doing this for probably about this is probably my fourth year, I think it is my fourth year. And the first 3 years, I was just stuck. Like I was doing it, but it wasn't, really generating what I really needed at a point. And my biggest struggle in the personally is how I struggle with. I talked about this. I think it was yesterday when I had somebody on with me. I talked about the hate and resentment, and I have that towards relationships, and I'm not talking about with just family and stuff like that. It's when I have girlfriends and stuff like that, and this is what prompted me to do this podcast because of that. You sit with yourself and you sit on a lot of things that's happened. She cheats on you, she betrays you, she secretive, something of that sort. And I'm sitting here and I'm suppressing all of this, and I'm not feeling really good, at this point with myself. So this is where this podcast comes in, and this is where I had to kind of recreate, you know. And it's kind of like that, when people do music, like you will see that, like, You see something that's not right, you have to recreate it. And this was like my point of actually recreating this, like how I'm going to do this. And doing that, it has been, I've never felt so great in my life. Now I just like, because I have people that I can actually sit down and genuinely have a conversation with. And like, it's been a fucking blast doing it because hearing other people, like, there are some people that I've had that's, been in the military like you, they, suffer from PTSD. Um, and yeah, similar things like that. And then they have their own struggles personally. And just listening to every single one of my people's, just listening to y'all, just hearing y'all, it's like you're not alone. You're not alone. And the more the pain that you sit on, the more you sit on it, the more that it will destroy you mentally. And that's why I had to say, man, I got to do something about, doing this podcast. Let me reconstruct it. Let me do everything that I can to try to see if I can, touch people in a way. And I think it's touched me more than it touched everybody else that's been on this damn podcast.
No, I mean, hey, that's the cool thing about creative endeavors is that you
Yeah.
truly will never know the real effect that it has. You
Yeah.
just have to know that the effects of it are the butterfly effect truly does apply. It
Yeah.
really, really, really does apply. There
Yeah.
is so many different ways in which, you know, my I know my music has affected people
Yes.
and they haven't been able to tell me or they wouldn't be able to tell me or
Mm-mm.
there's multiple different things that are in the way, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen,
Exactly.
you know?
That's why they say keep doing it. You
Yeah.
keep doing it. So you doing music, you keep doing fucking music because rather if you're touching people or not, or the effect is actually coming in, oh, somebody's listening.
Yeah.
Somebody's fucking listening. And I had to use that same mentality with me, with mine. So I'm like, let me just keep going. And when I had my first guest, back in February, yeah, I think it was February. I had my first guest. He was my very first guest, and that was Tim Thomas. He was my very first guest. And he yeah, he changed everything for me because I was like, I don't fucking feel like doing this. I'll just do this when I fucking feel like it. And when he came on and everything just started, emails started coming in, and I'm like greatly overwhelmed. I'm like, keep bringing it. Keep bringing these emails, man. I'm loving this shit. I'm like, let's go, man. I'm loving every minute of these emails, man. I saw yours. I said, I don't give a shit. We gonna do this. I'm like, I reply as fast as I can. Like, I don't care if I'm editing. I don't care if I'm doing other shit. I see that shit. I'm on it. I'm like, man, it's like this year here has been the greatest for me. And I enjoy every minute of it listening to you, listening to everybody else. Like, it has been so much fun. And it's never like a fun to talk about things like this, but to be able to know that you're not alone is what makes it fun. You can relate, you connect, and it's been awesome.
Yeah.
It's
That's
been awesome.
that's so
Yes,
great. I mean, it's really awesome and great talking with you. I mean, you have really
dude,
fantastic passions and mentality that and everything that you demonstrate is really, really great. It's
man. I mean, you have to because it's like you don't want to come in and you not 100% prepared. But sometimes it's like that. But you just have to be ready anyway. And I've always been like that. I have to be ready, man, because I think this is like what I need to be doing.
yeah. And truly nowadays is the discipline of the profession is
Uh-huh.
what will transfer through whether you have money or not.
Correct.
So the fact that you're doing really good journalism
Mhm.
and really good podcasting
Hmm.
will transfer through the more and more that you connect to the audience
Hmm.
through. I mean, there's different ways to boost the numbers on social media so that it starts orientating towards that audience.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how the entire world is fucking segmented into different audiences, and all you have to do is figure out how to tap in to yours. It
Hmm.
That's a really weird situation for the world to
Yeah.
be in because it's like, wait, everybody's in a fucking audience queue? Like everybody's in
Right.
an audience group? Really? Yeah, we are actually. They've all
Right.
segmented every single one of us, and we belong to multiple different kinds of groups that all come across in our different ad profile. And that's how the fucking world works. And it's psychotic, but that's how it works.
Yeah.
When you can still take your entire creative personality and everything you are and run it through that process, and you will find the people eventually.
Yeah.
And it
Eventually.
truly is the more and more that you do it and do your job well, that's what will translate through. And so that's what you've really, really got going for you. And
Man.
that's what I know will propel you further and further doing this more and more.
Yeah. And it's not even about the money, man. I'm not even making money from this shit, man. I'm just doing it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
No,
And
sooner or later you will be able to find a
yeah.
way to make it. Because, truly with the quarantine, that's kind of how it started. I didn't think of this as I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna get the money and the bitches. I was thinking
It's
I'm doing this so I'm gonna make a fucking statement so that anybody who thinks of the quarantine is gonna know what my statement is.
correct.
So it was about a message, not the fucking money, right? So
Right.
when you start doing that and focus on principles, man, like you and I are fucking right on the same button on that. Because
Yes.
and I know that that's truly what people want in the
Hmm.
industry. The audience wants it because there's a sense of organization. Like you've got the format, you've got the questions, you've got the mentality, and that's
Yes.
that's really, really
Yes.
awesome, man.
Yeah,
Like
and you're actually my first guy that actually in the musician in the music business that I've talked to. You're actually the first.
oh
Like
wow.
I'm just chopping in, like people that email me, they're just chopping in on different things. I've had, CEOs of financial advisors, you
Mhm.
know, come in. I've had, Tim Thomas, breath work, like you, a musician, like it's just chopping in. And it's
Yeah,
been amazing. And like everybody is having some personal struggles with that. And it's all handy to me. Like we could talk about it. And that's why I love it. I
yeah,
love it. And talking to you has been great, man.
yeah, absolutely. Likewise, man.
Man. Sean Martin, man. I appreciate your time, man. I really do.
Thank you
I
so much.
really
Really
do.
appreciate it.
Yes. Yes. I love it.